Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. I'll give you my financial opinion. We'll work through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and then work our way into the commodities that I follow in the ETFs. All right, guys, let's dive right in. And if you need any help with anything, definitely look at the website, finding-value.com. The Platinum membership, use the word discount in the coupon code to get a discount if you need any help with any of this commodity bull market that's coming, or that we're in, I should say. All right, so let's dive in. I got the DXY here. I call it the relative strength indicator. We are bouncing around a lot with the dollar. We've had some pretty strong up days back here, but the selling pressure or the relative strength of the dollar has been losing the past two trading sessions. It's been quite volatile. Generally speaking, what I see as a falling wedge that's broken out, generally that wants to go higher. But the past 2 days, we've really seen some selling pressure in the DXY. And I wouldn't have projected that. I would have thought the dollar would have gone a little bit higher than this. There is no reversal candlestick to go lower here, but it does look like it's trying to base out or do something here where we could go sideways. But we were down 0.7% today, quite strong. We were down on the 10-year yield, down 1.4%. So we are heading lower there. We had a massive down day yesterday in yields, our last trading session, I should say. And to me, this does look like we're in a move lower in yields in the short term. That's what I'm just looking at these large selling pressure days, and the buying pressure isn't as much as that big selling pressure day. So generally speaking, that wants to go lower. Bond prices, conversely, are opposite of yield, so they're going a little bit higher, up 0.53% on the 20-year. But that's not really saying much. This thing's been decimated, and it is due for a bounce. We could even bounce up, to this area up here or even up here if we want, and then I think we're going to see another slaughter. So that's bonds there. The 30-year yield also selling off just like the 10-year yield is. That looks like it will continue to go lower in the short term. And then the TYX-TNX ratio is heading a little bit higher today. I would say that just by looking at these metrics, if someone asked me if today was an up day for gold, I would say yes, it would be an up day, given that the curve is uninverting and we've got lower dollar and lower yields. Looking at the CRB index, we are still basically squeezing up in this pattern. We're back inside the pattern. We do have a couple of up days, yes, Friday and today. So that's looking good. The CRB to S&P 500 ratio is right at support. So that's also looking all right. And that's after a falling wedge, breakout, retest of the support level, perhaps. Gold up a little bit. We're up 1871. We do have a wick at the bottom, or a little wick at the top there. And it looks like we're coming into a little bit of selling pressure, a little bit of, resistance there. Perhaps this is a shoulder, head, shoulder that is playing out. An inverted head and shoulders, maybe. We'll see over the next week or so and see what pattern that thing scribes out. But overall, we've broken out of the downtrend. I should say we've broken out of this pattern here, and we've been moving higher at a pretty good pace. So that does look pretty good. Silver down 0.71%. We're getting the bloody nose on the month. That was on a monthly. The weekly still looks all right. We don't have a ton of selling pressure there, so that looks okay. We call this the bloody nose on the daily candlesticks. It's a big, tall green candlestick with a small down day next to it. This is a bullish engulfing. The candlestick on Friday was. And we got the bloody nose today, so that generally looks good for a move higher. Platinum also down a little bit. That's also got bloody nose syndrome. There we go. Big bullish engulfing on Friday. Little down profit-taking day today. Hopefully those buyers come in and whomp this thing higher. At least that's what I'm hoping. I got a bunch of platinum. Got to root for the platinum team. But we do have a little bit of contraction here on the candlesticks where we could be slowing down a little bit. Maybe we have a couple of small down weeks or months before heading higher. We'll see. XEU to gold ratio, it is still in ultra cheap land. This thing is super duper cheap for gold and silver mining companies. The question is, will silver and gold mining companies outperform the metal itself? I'm believing that it will. I want it to. I do own a little bit. We're right at support, resistance. This line going across, you can see we've traded in these areas extensively. It's not just one time. It's got a bunch of resistance there, so we got to break through this, and then if we can break through this line, that's the line for happiness. We can get up there and start moving and making our progress. The gold and silver miners making progress against the metal itself. GDX, again, we're right at that support resistance line. We've broken through that support resistance line. We've got a little bit of a down day today. Are we going to come back, do a retest or something like that? That is a bearish piercing that generally heads lower in the short term. I don't see any other patterns. I don't see it really squeezing up, so it might be just a down day or two. But overall, it still looks all right. SILJ, same thing, getting a little bit of selling pressure right at that resistance support line. You can see there's a lot of resistance support as we come through this line here. So it's going to be a lot of overhead resistance. Crude oil up 1.4%. It is a bullish engulfing, but it also has a candlestick at the top. So we had selling pressure throughout the day where the momentum did come back down throughout that day a little bit. Natural gas up quite a bit, 5.36%. It was rallying quite hard throughout the day. A little wick at the top. Again, I think this is going to take some time to kind of base out a little bit before heading higher. XOP, yeah, you know me, still hanging in there. Let's see if we get a trend line and where this thing, it's right above it. We'll see if we can break and move higher. I'll leave that trend line in there. Let's see if we can move. We're right at support trend line. OIH, that guy jumped higher today. A little bit of momentum loss throughout the day. It was rolling pretty hard. It ended up 2.18% with that gap up, but the momentum is coming back down. Let's see where this thing ends up. I don't really have a clear read on where this thing wants to go. Whenever you get these gaps and things selling off, kind of an ugly looking chart. I like the big green guys, call it the green army. That looks like this coming on up. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, getting a lot of selling pressure today. What's going on with that, guys? That is a lot of selling pressure here. That is a bearish engulfing. Generally, that wants to move lower in the short term. So maybe we'll get a little bit of a selling pressure in the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. Maybe we had a little bit lower in the short term. URNM still finishing quite strong, 2.72%. It is a gap up, and everything looks good. And keep in mind, whenever we break out of these things, we can do a retest or pull back down for a period of time. That is not, unnormal. It's not uncommon for that to happen. So expect a potential pullback in the short term before heading higher. Just looking at the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. TAN also gapped higher, but it sold off throughout the day. It still looks okay from a long-term perspective. Just kind of moving sideways. COPX up 2.19%. Let's zoom in there. Another one that gapped higher but was sold off throughout the day. That's why it's a red candlestick. Still looks all right. Looking at lithium. This is the lithium ETF getting lit. So getting lit is down there. Now, one thing I want to do is you kind of get this like support resistance line through here. Let me put it up a little bit here. It's probably more like up here or something like that. But sometimes you break down, you come back and do a retest, and then you head lower. I know, unfortunately. This is a bloody nose inverted where it could continue to the downside for lithium. REMX, rare earth metals, still getting a little bit of buying pressure today, but the sellers did sell it off. We're right at that resistance line. We'll see if we can break through it, get above it. SPX, is that a bloody nose? It could be. Maybe we can get a continuation higher. I'm not really betting anything on SPX. I don't have a horse in this race, so it doesn't really matter where this thing goes for me, but right now it does look okay. And then the NASDAQ also getting kind of that bloody nose, even though it was an up day, it gapped up and momentum's coming back down. We'll see where it goes. It still looks all right. I wouldn't be placing money in this area, and especially not with this downtrend. Still looks like garbage, but EEM gapping up, losing a little bit of momentum. That's why it's a little small red down day. I still like EEM. I think if we get a weaker dollar, I think that these guys are positioned well for a commodity bull market. They're cheap for the most part. China and a lot of these other markets, I still think that looks good. XHB going on sideways. We're right underneath this resistance line, so we're coming up to resistance. Move over. So Moo, it did the same thing as everything else. We're coming right under resistance. We gapped up and sold off throughout the day a little bit and ended still up. Copper looking strong. We're up over $4 an ounce now. Big picture view, let's look at this thing. It's starting to jump off its support level. So we got up to support. We kind of paused there. And now we're starting to come up to it. Maybe we can run here. I mean, it's very possible. To me, this does look like this is the first wave. We had a 60.618 pullback right here. It touched it, came on up, and maybe we launch, and this is the third wave that's beginning. If it's a third wave, let's do a trend-based fib extension just to see what's going on here. A lot of the times it can run 1.618 all the way up to something even higher. So we could run in copper if it can break away. $8 is a potential given that first wave. If this is a third leg, it could even go up to $11 or $10 or something. We could see a good potential out of this thing if it decides to run. Lumber up 3%. I know a lot of people have been saying lumber's crashing and all that, but it's in a falling wedge that looks like it wants to break to the upside. So maybe that's looking a lot better than what most people are portraying. Iron ore up 1.4%. Let's go to the line chart here. We're still chopping sideways. My last data was at December 29th, so I don't know if that's up to date there. Nickel flat today, 24.50 is what I see on nickel. And nickel is breaking below that trend line. It's just sitting there. But this is a pretty steep trend line. The steeper the trend line, I'll call it the less strong it is, put it that way. Ones that go sideways are pretty strong trends and support levels. Aluminum still right at support. I do think aluminum is going to go higher. Very much a bull on aluminum, and it's just been consolidating. I think it's probably going to go higher, and we're getting close to the end of this consolidation at some point here. Baltic Dry Index slightly down. This is doing the full retest. I do think this will go higher along with oil. They are correlated. We've got Newcastle Coal Futures right underneath resistance still, just bouncing sideways. And then we've got Ethereum. Now, Ethereum's looking a lot better. We've got some buying pressure coming in here on the right-hand side. We'll see how sustainable that is, and same with Bitcoin. It's starting to come up, and we've got some of these that are about to break to the upside of their patterns. We'll see if they break. I don't know if they're going to, but it is a form of liquidity in the system, and that's what we're measuring with these. So that's what we've got for today, guys. Uranium, it's looking good, but Sprott, what happened to Sprott? What's up with the bearish engulfing? We might see a little bit of a short-term weakness in some of these. We're getting some wicks at the top. We're getting some red candlesticks. We could see a down day tomorrow or something like that. So we're coming into a little bit of selling resistance. Not a big deal. Just ride through it in this way that I kind of view it. Maybe we get another buying opportunity if it does kind of do a full retrace back to a nice little area that we can pick things up. So, but that's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up if you like the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And check out my website, finding-value.com, the Platinum membership. Use the word discount in the coupon code to get yourself a discount. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.